Welcome to ASD Shine Bright, the podcast for young. This is the podcast where we highlight all the awesome things going on in the Anchorage School District. I'm joined here by two awesome young ladies as part of the Anchorage School District, Kardashyan from South and Natalie Hodge from Service. And we're here to talk about, they are recently named the 2025 Coca-Cola Scholars. And so we're going to talk about that. And also, they are really involved in some really amazing things in our community and what they're doing here. And we want to talk about, like, right now, how they got here, what they're doing right now, and then their futures. And so how are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I guess it was like a really long journey to get to that sort of Coca-Cola title, but it really was a diverse sort of database that they were looking at. So they wanted to see students who were immersed into a whole bunch of different things. And me and Anna actually know each other, which is kind of funny because we're the only two from Alaska. But we definitely have like different diverse things that we're a part of. So it's kind of cool to see that parallel of the things that we've found in Anchorage and Alaska as a community. But I don't know if she wants to.
Yeah, real quick, first let me say, so in the beginning, people may not know, besides they know what Coca-Cola is, but what is a Coca-Cola Scholar?
First off, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. I think it's wonderful for everybody to know what the scholarship is. The Coca-Cola Scholarship is the largest national scholarship in the country. It's a very prestigious title, and essentially it brings together 150 students every year to go on this trip in Georgia where they can do a bunch of leadership conferences and speak to each other. And essentially the main purpose that I applied to the scholarship was not only for the 20 grand, but it really was for the networking opportunity. It brings together all of these forward-thinking, policy-driven global leaders of the future. That's kind of like what they like to title themselves. It's a lot of very passionate individuals, whether it be in STEM, math, policies, politics. It's from all over the country. And so I'm super excited, and I think it will be a wonderful opportunity to meet some very similar individuals.
Real quick, so how many people applied for it totally?
105,000. Well, they say more than 105,000, but around that range.
And then out of the more than 105,000, how many were actually selected?
150.
And then out of Alaska, how many were selected?
Us too.
That is amazing odds. Like you said, that was like a
0.06 or something like that. Yeah, and in previous years, we didn't really have many Alaskans. I had to go down, I think it was 2017 or something like that, where the most recent Alaskan was chosen. So it's definitely not like a state privilege. It really is just based off of merit, academics, and your impact on your community.
Let's talk about that. So Anna, tell me a little bit about your impact. What are all the things you're doing? Before we were talking, you had a whole list of stuff. You're doing some amazing things. So tell me, like, what have you done in your time?
In terms of academics, I'm valedictorian of South Anchorage High School, but there are definitely a lot of extracurricular activities that I did that I think led me to this spot. The first one was serving as a United States Senate page for Senator Murkowski for 5 months in Washington, D.C. last year. I got to work in the Senate and work for the real-life senators, and so it was really wonderful to have sort of this, I guess, perspective on politics. I was able to see how the legislative process works in front of my own eyes, and so that definitely made me really into policy making. Some other things, I work with Arctic Encounter Symposium. I'm the development coordinator. I'm actually the only high schooler there that works for this program, and essentially it's this nonprofit organization that brings together a bunch of ambassadors and world leaders, global politicians to talk about Arctic policies and the Arctic region. I think that the Arctic region is also not really well developed in the international scheme, and so I think that bringing together a bunch of Arctic leaders is important because Alaska is definitely a long forgotten region in American politics, and so bringing up Arctic politics to national policies and international policies is really important. And so I work as development coordinator. I worked there as an intern for 2 years, and this is my first year working full-time, I suppose. When I'm not at school, I'm basically at the office. So that's been a wonderful opportunity. I've also worked with the National High Schoolers for Carbon Dividends. This is a national program that brings together students from every single state who want to sort of further climate policies for the future. And so I've worked in climate legislation. I published 4 articles in the Anchorage Daily News as well as in the Climate Leadership Initiative newspaper. So that's been a wonderful opportunity to speak to not only high schoolers and youth, but also senators. I've worked extensively with Senator Murkowski to talk about different policies and climate initiatives that we should impose in the future. And then I've also represented Alaska in different areas. Not only was I a Senate page, but I also worked as an American Legion Auxiliary Girls Nation Senator. This was essentially a program that brings together 100 girls from the United States to talk about policies and it's kind of like a mock Senate. So we pass bills and legislation, and we sort of act like senators. So I was the Alaska senator, and I was accompanied by one other Alaskan there as well. And that was an amazing opportunity because I got to go to the White House and back to the Capitol. So it's been wonderful to speak on these national, platforms. And then throughout the years, I've had many jobs. I worked for a newspaper, Cordova Times. I worked as a grader and tutor at the Kumon Early Learning Center. I've worked with a consulting firm. And I've also worked in debate. I'm my team captain. I went to many national policy debate competitions. And so, I think that's kind of an oversimplified resume. But that's essentially
The former journalist me, I used to work for different stations in Alaska in news, and so that's super cool because that requires a lot of research. And you said you were in youth court as well.
Yes, I was. Yeah, I was vice president last year, and I've been board of director for 3 years. And it's been really wonderful to get to meet youth in Alaska and to make an impact on their lives and be able to advocate for them firsthand.
I love it. I was part of youth court many years ago, but that's super cool. I love that. Very awesome, man. So Natalie, tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're doing, to be named a Coca-Cola Scholar.
Yeah, for sure. So in terms of academically, I'm the Robert Service High valedictorian this year. And I've known Anna in our fourth period class, so it's kind of cool that we have that friendship parallel. But really, in I think that would be 2023, I started off as an Alaska Children's intern for the Alaska Children's Trust, and I was their media coordinator, and I worked with them extensively for a summer, and that was a great experience to sort of dive into policy and nonprofit work. And from there, I became a lead-on SPC member, which is a summer planning committee, so I became a keynote speaker for 2 years for that conference. I helped organize it, and that was bringing over 150 youth from throughout the state of Alaska down to Anchorage, and we did an empowerment conference for 3 days, and that was really cool to see the different perspectives and diversities in Alaska. And from there, it really got my tables turning to what else I could do. And from there, I decided I wanted to start my own nonprofit, and it's called Keys to the Future, and we just hit our 20th workshop this month, so super excited for that benchmark. And we've impacted over 30-plus rural communities in Alaska and empowered them with life skills that you need for life after 18. And I was really inspired by my own experience as a child in transition, not really cut out for life after 18, not feeling prepared for anything that was thrown my way, and I didn't want other youth to feel that way. Since then, I also became the National Honor Society president at my school in our chapter, and I was able to open up a thrift store, and we were able to provide necessity items and clothes for kids in need at service, and we opened that 2 weeks ago, and the kids are really liking it there, so I'm really happy to see that growing. I'm also the You Are Not Alone president at my school. Yes, Yana. And we started that chapter this year after having it inactive for 2 years at service. And I really wanted to see it become more of an open and inclusive place for kids at service. And so after that, I also fundraised and built a chalk wall there. And so we're able to put kids' aspirations and dreams, and they're able to walk by the halls every day and have that be posted up on the walls for them. So I really tried to work on making an inclusive space for all there. Besides that, I'm also the YAHA Youth Stories and article writer, which is the Youth Alliance for a Healthier Alaska, and we're with the Women's Public Health Division. And so through them, I've had so many amazing opportunities. I've been able to host the Night at 8 Create contest, which is the suicide hotline, and we're able to have students from throughout the state then submit art media of any form, and they're able to become a winner with $150. And it's really to showcase what are different ways that we can highlight student voice to empower them to speak out when they need help and not feel like they're trapped in any bubble, and that there's people out there who care and love love for them. And through our Yana chapter, we did submit, even though I was hosting it. I was not a judge, so hopefully there was no bias there, but we did win for that as well. And so I got $150 for our Yana Club. And it's this giant mural where it just highlights different student dreams and aspirations at service. And it's over in our cafeteria now with a little plaque. And it's super cool because now I have like 2 plaques in the school that kind of highlights those 2 projects I was working on. Other than that, I'm also a keynote speaker for the Suicide Prevention Conference, and I've done several work through them highlighting that 988 number. And then besides that, another amazing scholarship that I just was awarded was the National Honor Society Scholarship. And so as soon as I get back from this Atlanta trip, one day later, kind of like that night, I'm flying out to Washington, D.C. So my entire April is going to be filled with Coca-Cola trip, and then right after that, going to Washington, D.C. to accept the National Honor Society Award. So super excited for that and very happy to make an impact.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's no excuse out there for young people to be part of stuff. Not saying you have to do all this stuff, but that is super cool that you guys are engaged and you care about your communities. And I know that's awesome. So, we talked about like what you guys got, but I'm assuming that's literally what got you to be a Coca-Cola Scholar. What is your plan for the future? Like, tell me, like, what's the next step? You're valedictorians, but you're going to college, I'm assuming. So where?
Yes. So I applied regular decision. So I actually find out this month where I get in. So I'm super nervous, but I applied to be announced. But I applied to almost every Ivy League. So I'm hoping for Columbia University in New York.
Great communications team.
Yes, but I also have a UPenn interview today. So going to speak to the admissions director. So we'll see how that goes.
UPenn, yeah. There's some. I know some alum that are from ASD that went to UPenn too. So.
And I'm hoping to study pre-med or aeronautical engineering, either or. I've also been looking into science, like medical science for space, so aeronautical space, stuff like that.
So you would want to work for like NASA or like go be a doctor?
Would be the dream.
Yeah.
But I did hear from one of my advisors that they're creating that new space medicine field. And to be honest, that's kind of like a bridge between both things, aeronautical engineering and the pre-med course that I wanted to do. I wanted to do pediatric surgery. So I'm trying to see, is there a way for me to bridge those 2 careers in some way? So, it's all up in the air because there's just so many different avenues that you can have for life. So, we'll see. The future is undetermined.
I like it. Anna, what's next for you?
So I applied to Stanford University early action, and I was accepted. So I'm planning on going there this fall. Yeah, I applied to some other Ivies, regular decision, just to compare financial aid packages. But I'm pretty happy with Stanford. I'm planning on majoring in international relations and minoring in data science. I'm super excited for the opportunity. But
So you're going to be a future CEO or running a city, a state?
We'll see, yes.
Or a country at a time?
Wherever life takes me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. So tell me, if we're talking, because we're talking to an audience here, and you're inspiring people, whether they're in 9th grade, kindergarten, they might think, I don't have those kind of accolades, but it doesn't mean that they can't still do things. What would be your advice to them about how to be engaged, involved in their schools, where they're at? I know you guys had a lot of really cool things, but what would be your advice for them to start off, in terms of seeing things in their community they can care about or just in their own school?
I think the first step is to be open and willing to take new opportunities. Whenever there was a new opportunity that was given to me, I kind of just jumped at it, even if I didn't think I was prepared for it. I always put myself in areas where I felt challenged and uncomfortable. I think a main lesson that I've learned through the past few years is be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's one of the biggest takeaways I've had, and I think that through my, through putting myself in uncomfortable situations, I've realized that those are the places that I'm the most passionate about. I wasn't really comfortable with speaking on climate policies or working in the Senate, but when I did that, I realized that I actually have a real talent and passion for things like that. So I think the first step is really just to take the first step and not to overthink everything. Life is unexpected, and you should be able to, jump from one avenue to the other without being worried of the consequences. I think that the more things that you do, the more that it'll help you in the future. And, I started off, I'm an immigrant. I never really liked speaking in public. Public speaking was always an issue for me because I was worried about my accent, and I always enjoyed enjoyed doing math instead. And so growing up, I've always done only math, everything STEM. And then I decided to take a challenge and join my debate class. And I realized that in debate, it's very similar to math. It's very formulaic. There's an introduction, contentions, and a conclusion. And so I realized that my passion and my talent for math actually transferred to something like public speaking and debate. And so through debate, I decided, oh, maybe law is a good career path. And then I joined Anchorage Youth Corps. And then ever since then, I've just kind of been jumping around, seeing what really calls to me. But yes, the first thing is to take the first step.
Good. I like that. Feeling comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like that.
I think for me, the main advice I could give is don't be afraid to fail, and it's okay to be scared. In a lot of ways, I come from low income and sort of an unstable home life from my early childhood, and so I was always scared to go out there and just see what different things were out there. So for me, I started off with just something small, going into different clubs that were available at my school and just seeing if I would like it. And it's so easy to just pop in during lunch and, just listen to learn, not to talk, and just see like what different things you can absorb from them. And from there, I realized that the clubs that, like Anna was saying, that I didn't think that I would like, I actually started loving. And for me, Yaha was just like a one little ad on Instagram. I thought it was a scam, but it turned out it wasn't. And so I decided to click on it, and it was just a teen media recording to try and see for it was like digital literacy workshop, and they were just trying to have teens come in and see like what ways can we empower each other to be more safe online. And so that was the first like little step for me. And after the one little ad on Instagram, it just grew from there. And it really just, I was able to see there's so many different things in Anchorage, and there's so many little nonprofits and organizations that are trying to make an impact. And if you just kind of go out there and see what exists, you'll realize that there's such a big community here waiting for you.
I love it. You guys, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I also think that a lot of people are scared of joining new things or committing to a different like activity because of fear. And I kind of learned this new acronym that I'd like to share. Fear is representative of two very different paths. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. And so I encourage you all to face everything and rise, and don't let fear be the thing that stops you from your goals.
I love it. One of my favorite quotes is action cures fear. And I don't even know who said it. I just know that's something I've always lived by. And so in anything I've ever done, especially like with my daughters or in my life, I know like you guys basically are saying that, just do it. You know what I mean? Just jump into it. I like that. This is a great conversation. I didn't realize I was talking to two valedictorians at the same time. I just think it's awesome. Do you guys have any like last pieces of advice for people out there in terms? I know you guys literally just said some advice, but are you having fun in what you're doing?
Yes, actually, I was going to comment on that. I think it's more about the journey and not the destination. If I did everything for the destination, I'd feel kind of empty inside, like, oh, I spent the last few years just to get into Stanford, but now what, Yeah. But I realized that the journey is really what makes it exciting. I've been able to meet so many wonderful and incredible individuals for the past few years, and I've had so many awesome memories at every conference or every initiative that I've done. And so
enjoy what you're doing. Don't do it just for the act of doing, and don't do it for an award. Do it for yourself.
Like that.
Yeah. I think for me, like that last piece of advice could probably be that family is the one you create. So don't feel like you have to kind of tie yourself to any past. Just focus on the future, because the future is so amazing in so many ways, and you get to determine it. So that's something that I really, I believe everyone should take to heart. And also just live knowing that everyone is not out to get you, that there's so many people out there that they want to see you succeed, and all they want to do is just build a connection. So build connections with people, love each other, and realize that life is supposed to be fun.
I love it. Thank you. That was so awesome. Great stuff. I can't wait to see what you guys do next. I have a feeling, because we do the graduation profiles, that you guys will be at least one of them selected. I'd be shocked if I didn't see. And I know we'll see you guys. We do a lot of live streams during the graduations. Were you guys junior marshals?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, no surprise there. So during the graduations, we have some fun with it. So I'll probably see you guys in line, and you guys will be definitely ones I'll be like, hey, give me some thoughts on like your last moments as you graduate from South and from service and stuff like that. So super cool. Thank you guys for being on this podcast, and thank you guys for the great words of wisdom and advice and just talking about your journey. I know it's not easy, but I know you guys are going to do well. I know I speak for anybody watching or listening that we wish you success. And don't forget about ASD. Come back and, teach your wisdom to the young people. You'll be the older person at one time. So just come back and do that. So appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for watching ASD Shine Bright, the podcast. You know where you can catch us everywhere from Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, also on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're all over the place. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.